So on this question, our goal is to solve the equation cos 2x equals sin x, but in the domain of x being between 0 and 2 pi. The reason that we've got to use a double angle formula for this question is because we've got one input here of 2x and one input here of x. So when the inputs are different to each other, we'll almost certainly need to use a double angle formula. So we'll have a look at what we've got here, cos 2x. And obviously, on the right-hand side, we need to choose one of the three formulae. So if we think about our objectives here, we want to try and use a formula that's going to use the same trig ratio as we've got on the right-hand side here, which means we need to be using this identity. And that means we've got everything involving sine. So if we sub that in, cos 2x is the same as having 1 minus 2 sine squared x, and that's going to be equal to sine x. If we then go about trying to solve that, we can see that we've now got a quadratic equation. So maybe we'll make a substitution. Maybe we'll say that sine x is going to be equal to y. So we can see that we've got 1 minus 2y squared equals y. I always want my y squared term to be positive, so I'm going to move this over to the right-hand side to make that happen. So if I move everything to the right-hand side, I'll have a 0 on the left-hand side. I'm going to have a plus 2y squared. I've already got a plus y, that's already there. And then the plus 1 will be changed into a minus 1. Now, if we factorize that, we're going to have two brackets, one which starts with the 2y, one which starts with the y. And if we put the numbers in, we're looking for it expanding to give plus y and minus 1 at the end, which is going to be if we have a plus 1 there and a minus 1 on the other side, because the 2y times by the 1 is 2y, minus 1 times y is minus y. Combine them gives you plus y. That means that y is equal to either a half or it's equal to negative 1. Now let's go back to the trig. So sin x equals a half or negative 1. If sin x is equal to a half, we can think on the exact values that we've got about the fact that that's going to be 30 degrees or pi over 6 radians. Sine is also positive in the second quadrant, which will give me 5 pi over 6 as my second answer. And then sin x is equal to negative 1 when x is equal to 3 pi over 2 radians. And that's all of my solutions.